A World Cup semifinal exit. Man, it just brings absolute heartbreak, doesn't it? Welcome everyone to this explainer. Today we are diving deep into the upcoming clash between two genuinely wounded titans, France and England. We're going to break down the tactics, dig into the history, and then run it all through an advanced AI predictive model to see exactly who's likely to take home the bronze.
Now, you might actually be asking yourself right now, wait, is this just a meaningless consolation match? Well, think again. Seriously, if you believe this is just some friendly kickabout for third place, you probably don't know the deep, bitter history of the Le Crunch Derby. Every single time these two cross-channel powerhouses clash on the international stage, drama isn't just likely, it's absolutely guaranteed. The stakes, they are always incredibly high, just because of the sheer weight of their shared footballing history.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The Ancient Rivalry.
Looking right here, you can see the absolute trauma and the ecstasy that really defines Le Crunch. I mean, trace it back to Euro 2004. Who could possibly forget Zinedine Zidane's stunning late double, including that absolutely incredible free kick? Then, fast forward to that brutal, agonizing quarter-final battle in Qatar 2022. England played brilliantly, right? But then a rocket from Aurélien Tchouameni and a clinical header from Olivier Giroud sealed it for France, punctuated by the sheer agony of Harry Kane's late penalty clearing the crossbar. And now, here in 2026, both teams arrive carrying the incredibly fresh heartbreak of World Cup semi-final exits. The drama is literally baked right into the timeline of this fixture.
Let's move over to the data. Looking at their top-tier modern fixtures, it's an incredibly deadlocked affair over their recent major tournaments. I mean, it's perfectly balanced. Both sides have traded blows almost equally. 3 wins for France, 3 wins for England, and 1 incredibly tense draw. England actually edges the goal tally a bit, 12-9, which averages out to 1.7 goals per game to France's 1.3. So the crucial takeaway here is that, on paper, they are completely matched. But as we all know, football isn't played on a spreadsheet. It's played on the pitch, under suffocating pressure. And while England totally matches the intensity, France has this brutal habit of winning the psychological warfare. They just seem to find that clinical edge when the scars are permanent, exactly like they did in Qatar, creating this massive mental roadblock that England is absolutely desperate to break through today.
All right, moving right along, Section 2, Present-Day Form.
This brilliant juxtaposition really highlights where both squads are at right now. Over their last 5 international matches, France has recorded 3 wins and 2 losses, and they boast immense attacking variety, scoring 10 goals. That's a lethal 2 goals per game. However, and this is a big however, they also have some really surprising defensive vulnerabilities, having conceded 7 times. They're devastating on the counterattack for sure, but they can be caught wide open when transitions hit them quickly. England, on the other hand, tells a completely different story. In their last 5 outings, they've ground out 3 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. They scored 9 goals, but get this, they've conceded only 3.
I really want to draw your attention to this staggering number right here, 0.6. That is England's elite goals conceded per game over their last 5 matches. To put that into perspective, under immense, crushing scrutiny, England's defensive line is essentially built a fortress. They don't play to blow teams away with reckless, chaotic dominance. Actually, their average possession sits at a very controlled 54%. Instead, they play to suffocate the opposition and strike with calculated, structured efficiency.
Which brings us to Section 3, the Tactical Chess Match, the classic unstoppable force versus immovable object.
So, let's look at when France actually strikes. Tactically, France sets up in a 4-3-3 to exploit that explosive pace on the wings with guys like Kylian Mbappé and Ousmane Dembélé. They use an intense, high-tempo press in transitions. They want to create absolute chaos in the final third, and they want to do it early. Just look at this. A massive 38% of their total goals are scored in the opening 30 minutes of a match. They want to hit you hard before you've even settled into the game.
But immediately contrasting that, take a look at England's goal timing. England plays the exact opposite way. They are the absolute masters of late-game execution. England's goals in the 60 to 90-minute window account for 34% of their total output. They are perfectly comfortable just absorbing that early French chaos. They essentially wait for the opposition's press to tire out, legs to get heavy, and then they ruthlessly pounce. So it really is early explosion versus late execution.
Let's zoom in a bit for Section 4, Key Player Showdown. The spotlight here is intensely focused on 2 generational talents. For England, it's Jude Bellingham. He is the ultimate midfield catalyst. His ability to drive forward from deep, break those stubborn defensive lines, and link up with Harry Kane is absolutely critical. Honestly, if France's double pivot manages to crowd Bellingham out, England's entire attack runs the risk of becoming stagnant. For France, though, the heartbeat is Kylian Mbappé. Even against England's low block, his spatial awareness, elite dribbling, and just terrifying acceleration can turn a half chance into a goal in literally 2 seconds. If England gives him even an inch of space to dictate transitions, well, they'll be chasing shadows all evening.
Now for the real fun part. Section 5, the AI prediction. Who actually takes home the bronze?
We've fed all this data into an advanced predictive model. And first up, the AI expects a truly brutal battle for control in the middle third of the pitch. Look at the possession probability. It is nearly split right down the middle, 51% for France and 49% for England. Now remember earlier we noted England usually averages about 54% possession? Well, the AI expects France's aggressive transition play to force England into conceding slightly more of the ball than they normally prefer. It is going to be incredibly tight in the midfield.
However, the data reveals a really fascinating dynamic for the late game. While France might dominate that early chaos we talked about, the AI highlights that England's squad depth gives them a massive advantage as the game wears on. Specifically, the model shows that England's bench options create a sharp spike in chance creation efficiency during the final 30 minutes. Basically, if they can weather the early storm, the math tilts heavily in their favor late in the game.
Now, what's really interesting about this next bit is when you calculate all those variables together into a final probability matrix, the AI gives France the razor-thin edge. We're looking at a 46% probability for a France victory, a 36% probability for an England victory, and an 18% chance of a draw that pushes the game into extra time and potentially the absolute drama of penalties.
Translating those probabilities into a final verdict, the AI predicts a highly tactical, tightly contested affair. The model expects either a narrow 2-1 win for France or a tense 1-1 draw that gets pushed all the way into extra time. Ultimately, the computer believes that France's clinical efficiency in those early transitions might just be enough to overcome England's defensive lockdown and secure them that podium finish.
But let's bring this narrative full circle, shall we? As much as the data points towards a narrow French victory, the source material leaves us with a stark reminder. If football history has taught us absolutely anything, it's that you can never count England out when they are hunting for modern revenge. The psychological weight of Qatar 2022 is an insanely powerful motivator, and numbers alone simply cannot measure human determination. So, what does this all mean? That is the objective AI breakdown of this massive clash. But now, I'm turning it over to you. Do you agree with the model? Or do you think the Three Lions are finally going to avenge Qatar and take home the bronze? Drop your exact score predictions in the comments below. I would absolutely love to see if you can outsmart the AI before the final whistle blows. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope it helps you enjoy the game even more. Keep learning, keep watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.